Okay, I'm recording this because there's too much to write down. This was a dream I had, I think this morning from about the times of 8:45 to 9:23 a.m. And, so it was me and a group of people. And we were supposed to go on a trip, on a flight to Tokyo. I don't remember who was there, besides this. I don't know who it was, but he was kind of like the Nicholas Braun from Sky High, and Rachel Kwok, from this girl I went to high school with, and who I've not spoken to in like 8 years. So we have to get a flight to Tokyo, and it's really late. We're late for the flight. I don't remember why. I think maybe we just got the times mixed up or something. But so we were looking, and I think there's like too much traffic or something. And we're gonna miss the flight. But luckily, I find out there's like a really dilapidated station in the neighborhood next to mine. This is at my house. This is at my house I grew up in, that I start off at in my neighborhood. And in the subdivision one street down, there's like this really old, overgrown station. And the only thing there, when we get there, I'm like, oh, I think we can take that to the airport. And so we get there, and there's like a trolley, like a tram, maybe, kind of, there's like a line running, like a light rail kind of thing. And I'm like, oh, well, I don't think that's going to work, because they never actually built a light rail connection to the airport, which is real. That's a real thing. But I was like, okay, well, we see this tram going by, and some of the people in the group are like, okay, that's it, let's get on. And they jump on the tram before it drives away. But then I look at it, and I'm like, oh, I don't think this is correct. I think this is, I don't think this route goes to the airport. And I look at it, and there is a route that goes to the airport that this tram takes, but it is the route you have to get on that route, you have to be in like Hendersonville or something. So then you have to be in like Hendersonville, or I don't know. Anyway, but it's not here. The route, it doesn't go from here. And, so we go back down, and now it's kind of like but I'm like, oh, but there's like you can take a really short you can book a plane, like a really short ride in a plane, and that'll take us to the airport. Kind of, I guess, maybe like an Uber Blade experience, but instead this was like booking a domestic flight. And so we go down to the desk, and one of the desks is entirely Chinese. It's like a Chinese, it's like this round desk, and it's partitioned, and behind the glass there are 3 different airline representatives sitting there. And the first one we try to talk to, they're only speaking Mandarin, and it is you can only use it to take flights to China. Which is weird, because the station is in a subdivision, and so I don't know how they would land a plane big enough to get to China. This was a concern I had in the dream. I was like, well, that's not going to work. And then the people next to them are like, hey, we can take you on a flight to the airport, and it's $5. And so we get the tickets, and we go up the escalator, and we're like, hey, we're looking around, we can't find the gate. The gate is not there. We have to get to, I think it was D9. There were none that ended in 9. There were no gates that ended in 9. And so we're looking everywhere, and we find like D1 through 8. It's either D or G, but we get the 1 through 8. And then we turn the corner, and we run into the other people from our group. So I guess they did not take the tram to the airport. So they're like, hey, we can't find the gate. but we saw 10 through 14, and we're like, that's weird. And so we turn a corner, and there's like a big hallway, and there's a door off to on the left side of the hallway, and it's a double door, and we're like, oh, that must be gate D9, maybe it was G9, and we're like, oh, there it is, there's the gate. And we get to it, and it's not, it's like 10 or something. And so we're really disheartened, and we're getting really late to get on our flight to the airport. We're really late. We're worried about getting to the airport still. And then we go back down the escalator, and the escalator is like, it had like a funky escalator. It was like going in spurts. It wasn't just continuous. It would go like, and so we get back down, and we're like, well, okay, maybe it's outside. So it's outside, so we go outside, and then suddenly it's like a Chinatown setting. It's no longer that subdivision. It's almost a Chinatown-like setting, which I guess would make, explain the airplanes that are Mandarin. But so we go in this one place, and so we're walking around, and I'm like, well, maybe the gate is a number that looks like, maybe they painted it over. Maybe there's a gate number 9, and they painted over it. They painted over the 9 to make it look like a different number to confuse us. And so we're walking around, and sure enough, I see it, and I don't know. I don't remember who was with me at this point. I remember Rachel Kwok from high school was there, and so I'm like, oh, well, let's look up at this sign, and it was gate, D, G, F, whatever. It was like gate number 5, but when we looked closer, it was actually a 9 that they had like painted over and added a little bit at the bottom to make it look like a 5, and I was like, oh, there it is. Like, it was printed, the number was printed a 9 and then painted over with a 5. But so we go in, and there's like a tram in there, and each car, or it was more like a train, it's more like a roller coaster, the whatever the thing you sit in for the roller coaster is, and each car has like a guy sitting there eating dinner. It's like a guy with like a table set in front of him, and it's still Chinatown, so it's all like it's like hot pot food. And I'm like, oh, I know this. I've seen this before in the game Yakuza. It's a mini game. To get this train to go, we have to like eat these guys. We have to like beat these guys in an eating challenge. And I'm like, okay, I know what to do here. So I step into the tram. I step onto the first car, and the guy across from me is like, hey, this is the noodle challenge or whatever. And he starts slurping up noodles. And he like throws them at me or something. And my job, he's got the bowl, and he's got his chopsticks, and he's throwing them at me. And what I have to do is grab them with the chopsticks and then like spin them around really fast and like throw them back at him. I think. And some of them. Then he started throwing those really thick, the wide noodles. And so I was, it was this motion. It was like this. I was pulling them toward myself and throwing them back at him. And Rachel Kwok was like, oh, this is it. I'll tell the others that we stopped for dinner. And I was like, no. This is how we get to that plane. This is how we get to the flight to the airport. And she's like, oh, okay. So I'm throwing these noodles around, and then this guy is like, and then there's the added challenge where the guy's like, oh, have some piss. And he takes, it's a decanter of sake, and he's like handing it to me, and he goes, that's piss. He's like, it looks like sake, but it's piss. And so I'm like, okay, this is a little decanter of urine. And so I take a sip of it, and it's hot sake. It's not piss. But I'm like, guys, I got a bottle of piss right here. And I start like dashing it. I start like throwing it around in swaths, pouring it out, trying to land it on people. And I woke up.